Hello, everybody, and welcome to another episode of What's Going On in There. I'm Stephen Tomlinson, and today I'm joined by my Level 7 cohorts and colleagues who also happen to be dear friends and altogether pretty fantastic human beings. On my right, he is tall, he is organized, he is a great big lovable guy, and a fantasy football champion of the highest order, and he is decked out in appropriate Hawks swag today. My partner Dave Hollister is here to enlighten and entertain you.
Hello, hello.
Hello, Dave. Hello, Dave. And on my left and directly across the table from me, making her debut on the show today, is our Director of Business Administration, which means a whole lot of things in our company, but mostly she is the keeper of order behind the scenes, the force to be reckoned with, the primary reason that our train has managed to stay on the tracks, at least to this point. She is sharp as a tack, exceptionally patient, and always pleasant, but don't let her fool you. She knows what you're thinking before you do. And the lovely and engaging Margot Williams is also with us today.
Hello, hello.
Hello, Margot. And Dave and Margot and I are with Level 7 Facility Services, and what we do on this podcast, as the name may suggest, Dave, is we take a peek behind the curtain of some of Atlanta's many intriguing businesses and speak to business leaders from around the metro area to hear all about their origins, where it is they're heading next, their victories, challenges, and lessons learned along the way. And particularly because we work in the world of maintaining commercial and industrial properties, and we have the honor of working inside some really cool facilities and partnering with a number of iconic organizations, we like to focus on the actual buildings themselves, how they function, what makes them unique, and how utterly lost they'd be if not for our partnership. That is not exactly true. But anyway, so Margo, you know how you're driving around sometimes and maybe you drive past some crazy looking building right off the freeway or something, and you find yourself wondering, what is that place and what in the world are they doing there? And you're thinking, what is going on in there? Of course you do. It's universal. We all feel that way. It is that very curiosity that fuels the premise of this show and gives us the excuse to sit down with interesting people like our guest today in the name of entertainment and education and call it podcasting. That's a fair assessment, right?
Absolutely.
Yeah, okay. That's what we're doing here. So today, guys, speaking of iconic facilities in Atlanta, we are fortunate to be joined by a friend of Level 7 who is also an important member of the Atlanta Hawks organization, Mr. Kyle Conway. Kyle oversees all conversion activities at State Farm Arena, which is no small undertaking. He originally hails from Deltona, Florida. See, I told you I did my homework.
You got it.
And attended the University of Florida, so we get to be friends 364 days of the year. Kyle graduated from Florida with a degree in chemical engineering, which sounds to me a lot like sleepless nights memorizing long and painful chemical equations. But first of all, welcome. Thank you very, very much for joining us today.
Absolutely happy to be here. And if you have thermodynamics questions, please feel free to ask.
We will. I can promise you. So are you a masochist?
It certainly seems that way.
What would lead a person to choose chemical engineering as a major, short of aspiring to become the next Walter White?
Yeah, well, just coming out of high school, engineering seemed like the way to go based on what I did in high school. And then obviously all of that changed because I spent the last 15 years working in sports.
Yeah, I would imagine. So was Breaking Bad out before or after you chose that major?
After.
Okay.
I actually haven't seen it. It's been on my list forever.
Have you not?
No.
Oh man,
Yeah.
it is as good as television gets. Yeah, for sure. Well, that's cool. I was an English major, and I'm in the cleaning business, so whatever. Chemical engineering sounds like hey, you got a piece of paper. That's something for sure.
I figured if I had to fall back on that was not the worst decision to make.
Yeah. There you go. So we always like to kind of start off with the layup questions, and kind of get a little bit of background of where you came from, how you came from. So Deltona is like not really close to Daytona, or is it? Like, is that the beach that you would go to?
Yeah. It's pretty close. It's like 20 minutes inland from Daytona Beach.
Okay, I was thinking more like Orlando.
It's almost exactly in between Orlando and Daytona.
Gotcha.
It's exit 114 on I-4 for anyone that for some reason wants to go to Deltona, Florida.
If you grow up outside of Orlando, is it fun? Like, do you go to do the Disney things in the theme parks, or you're just like, nah?
Yeah, a little bit. I haven't been in a long time. It's one of those like. At the beach too, I miss it now.
Yeah.
Every time I move further away from the ocean. But it's like I used to live 20 minutes away. So
yeah.
No, we had season tickets to Universal
for
a year. Disney, not so much for me. But I mean, I have friends now that go back all the time.
Yeah.
But I haven't been in a long time.
Universal's the one with the best roller coasters, right? Yeah.
Islands of Adventure. That opened when I was 11. Islands of Adventures. That was a big deal.
Yeah, prime age for it. Mm-hmm. Nice. So how does one go from growing up in Deltona then to Gainesville, get your degree, and then you get into the sort of sports and entertainment world that you did?
Yeah. So I was a huge nerd in high school. See, I say that like I'm not a huge nerd now. But science had always kind of called to me. I actually won the science award in high school, which is a fact that I consistently forget. But I went to a engineering symposium at the University of Florida my junior year of high school, and that's kind of what decided me to go there.
I'm sorry.
And a funny anecdote about that is I only applied there. I didn't even think about it until I was waiting for the results, and I was like, "Oh no, what am I going to do if I don't get in?" But that worked out, obviously. And then
it's a hard school to get into too. I mean, it's in the SEC, and it's academically one of the best.
UCF is marketably easier to get into. And that was much closer to home, so I have a lot of friends that went there.
Mm-hmm.
But I was one of 6 from my high school to go to Florida that year, which was like an astonishingly large number. My high school was not very good. Sorry, I won't mention it on air. Sorry, my high school.
I know what it is from my from my show.
If you really want to look it up, you can find it, but I won't put the name out there. But I got there, and my first year in college, I got this part-time job at the O'Connell Center, Stephen C. O'Connell Center, which they have a very robust student worker program. So there's about 12 full-time adult administrators that kind of run the place, and the rest of the workforce is all students. So it's like a rotating like 400 large student cast that kind of comes in and out as people graduate and enter and stuff like that.
Is that the basketball arena there?
Yep. Basketball, volleyball, gymnastics, swimming and diving, and track.
Is it a newer facility?
Cool. It opened in 1981.
Okay.
And then they remodeled it in 1999 and added it used to have an inflatable roof, and they added like a full metal roof, but they kept the shape. So they made it look like a dome still, but there's these fun relics in there that are still kind of there. There's like the airlock door, which I never saw in action because I started there after that, obviously. But they used to have to, when an event was ending, they had a guy look up at the roof, and like they had to close doors and stuff to make sure the roof didn't come down.
Oh wow,
like that.
That's crazy.
Yeah, that is crazy.
They remodeled in '99. I was there. I worked there from 2008 to 2015. And they then had a full renovation again the year after I left, and now it's much different. When I go back, it almost doesn't feel the same.
Mm-hmm.
I feel like weirdly uncomfortable in there now because I spent so much time in there, and it's like very different now.
Mm-hmm.
But so they don't do indoor track anymore, but all those other sports still happen in there. They have commencement in there. They have generally 11 or 12 commencement ceremonies.
How many
5
seats?
high school graduations. It was 12,000. Now I think it's closer to 11, maybe.
Mm-hmm.
They lost some seats in the renovation.
Mm-hmm.
Were you there through all the basketball championships?
No,
okay.
I missed that just barely. So they won that 2006 football championship. That was my last semester of high school.
I don't remember any football.
Yeah. Yeah, you guys up in here at Georgia, you don't like to think about that time.
The dark years, we blocked them out.
The second of the 2 basketball titles was my last month of high school. So I just missed that. So my first year there was the year Tebow won the Heisman Trophy.
Gotcha.
It was kind of a crazy time to be there. And then they won the football championship, of course, the next year, and that was insane.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Did they won with Tebow, or no? They won the next year with.
They won 2 with Tebow. 1 was before I got there, and then 1 was while I was there.
I see. Yeah.
He wasn't the starter the first year.
Well, like I said, I block all that out.
Yeah. You and Ohio State, because we beat Ohio State for both those championships in 2007, which that's got to feel bad.
So you got a feel for what it's like to run a sports entertainment facility. I guess you got your teeth wet, or is that the right metaphor? Your feet wet. Teeth cut.
Wet.
Cut your teeth, wet your feet.
We will edit that right back in. It's going to be fine. As I got into school, I kind of realized that engineering was probably less and less for me, and I found myself in this weird industry that I didn't know existed a couple years earlier. And so I just picked up more and more of that as time went on. Florida's very good about, if you want to try something, go on and try it. So I had my fill of, I led usher crews, I led security crews, I did technical stuff, I did conversion, obviously, parking, traffic, you name it. Opening the building, closing the building, had a big giant set of keys, that kind of thing. So yeah, just over time, it became more and more clear that was where I wanted to go.
Mm-hmm.
But I was good at engineering, so I decided to stick with it and get the degree. And if I have to fall back on that, obviously it's not the worst.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah. So after that, I was at Florida for a long time. So like much longer than the average student works at the O'Connell Center. then I started looking for work. I was going to move out west. That didn't happen. And kind of while that was all going on, an opportunity opened up at Wake Forest University. And so I went there in the summer of 2015. And I was an assistant director at the Lawrence Joel Veterans Memorial Coliseum, which is a mouthful, obviously.
I guess that is their basketball facility?
That is Wake Forest's basketball arena. So a little bit bigger. It's about 15,000 seats because it's in the ACC. Now, Wake Forest kind of has a good year every now and then, but they are still in that conference. So they will pack that place out when certain visitors come, or if Wake Forest goes on a tear, that place will be rocking. But I was there for about 2.5 years, and then this opportunity with the Hawks opened up, and everything just kind of lined up perfectly.
That's cool.
So that, astoundingly, that was over 4 years ago that I started here now. So
Wow.
Very cool. So how long were you at Wake?
It was just under 2.5 years.
I was actually born on the campus of Wake.
No way.
Yeah.
The Renolda campus?
Yeah. Well, so my dad was he's retired now, but he was a urologist, and he did his residency at Bowman Gray, which is a teaching hospital at Wake. So born in Winston. Yeah.
Cool, beautiful place.
Yeah. We moved from there when I was 3, so I don't really remember it much. But
have you been back or no?
Yeah, a little bit.
Yeah.
Yeah, my sister was in Greensboro for many years.
Yeah,
so.
my dad actually still lives there. He's in Winston now, so every now and then I make it back up there.
It's a cool town. Yeah, it's a nice little part of the world. That's cool. So those are basically your 3 career stops so far.
Yeah.
And you came on board. Did you work? You worked with Jack.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yep.
And Jack that's who we originally I think signed up with at State Farm Arena, and kept in touch with him a little bit. I know that he still got some connection to it, and it still comes to town.
Yeah, his girlfriend still lives here.
Yeah.
So actually I saw him a couple of weeks ago.
Oh,
he was
very
in town for a day, and I just happened to catch him.
Yeah.
But yeah, no, I was here a little bit before he was, and obviously I'm still here. So
yeah.
Jack's MO is kind of picking up and moving. And, he's going to find the place, but he is not afraid to go try new stuff.
Yeah, there's something to be said for that. Keep the scenery changing. And so talk to us a little bit about what you do, and then let's kind of dig in a little bit more with State Farm Arena. I mean, certainly most of our listeners have probably spent plenty of time there, as we all have.
Yeah.
But behind the scenes, I mean, it's been really fun for us. I mean, I can think of some of my first concerts were at the Omni, which was the predecessor to
our freight. For fun fact, our freight elevators are still from the Omni.
Is that right?
Really?
That's kind of cool.
How about that?
They break down all the time.
Oh, I believe that. I believe that. But it was really wild when Jack first gave us a call, because I think the connection was that we had been doing work at Mercedes-Benz Stadium.
That's right.
And he said, look, we know some people that say you guys do a terrific job over there, and I would love for you guys to come look at our conversion. And so just to kind of be able to walk around and kick the tires a little bit, that was a cool experience for me. But tell us what a standard conversion might look like. And I guess just for the listeners who don't understand when we say conversion, obviously, the facility has to be a concert venue, and it has to be a basketball venue, and it has to be a lot of different things. And a lot of times there's not a lot of time between the events.
Yeah. Obviously, it depends on the venue. So this is by far the busiest venue that I've worked at, and it's one of the busiest in the country. It's probably behind Staples Center and Madison Square Garden, and that's probably about it.
Wow.
We're up there for sure. So my title is manager of conversion. Sometimes it's also called changeover, like event changeover. So my responsibility is to change the layout of State Farm Arena. Is how, if I had to give it to somebody in one sentence, that's what it would be. And then they go, oh, well, what does that mean? And it's like, okay, well, now imagine any piece of equipment that moves, and we move it. Almost everything. So that's retractable seats, that's multiple basketball floors, that's a house stage, that's courtside seats, decks on top of ice. We can build a whole ice ring in there. So that is my job is to kind of orchestrate the ballet that gets that done in between events. So as an example, there's a basketball game tonight. So I'm going to go in at 10 p.m. tonight and change into a comedy show that's on Friday. So they're bringing their own stage, but I have to clear all the basketball stuff out. Then Saturday there's another basketball game. So I have to come in after that show, put everything back together, and then Sunday, Dave Chappelle's coming to town, so I have to come in and tear it all down again, and then there's another basketball game on Monday.
Wow.
So that's just, one slice of a week at State Farm Arena.
Just back and forth and back and forth.
Yeah.
And I guess basketball season, you just see that all season long.
October to April.
Yeah.
Or, in some seasons, October to June.
Right.
It depends on how it goes.
Yeah, that's right. How are the Hawks going to do this year? Are they going to make it to June?
I don't know about June, but we're certainly expecting them to make the playoffs.
Yeah.
They've had a very weird start to the year, but I think they're starting to turn it around. So they're currently 7-9.
Okay.
They play Boston tonight, so hopefully they get one step closer to 500 again.
Well, I think after the Dogs win the Natty, then we need our third national championship from the Hawks.
You know what's funny, and I know I went to Florida, and I don't have much against Georgia, but on the radio, that's all everyone is talking about.
Sure.
They're like, Georgia's going to win the title. I was like, I don't know. You Atlanta guys are riding high with this Braves thing right now.
Oh yeah.
I don't know if you want to get that far ahead of yourselves.
Well, we
you
do
look
it
good
every
though.
year.
I mean,
One game at a time.
Georgia
Come on,
looks.
we got to
really
stop
good.
the talk right now.
We do it every year for the record. Trust me. It's this is the year. I promise this is the year. So hope springs eternal.
Hope so.
Yeah.
So, do you ever get any sleep?
That great question. The answer is yeah. I guess. Regular sleep is not a thing I've had in a long, long, long time. In fact, when everything was shut down, I didn't know what to do with myself. For the first time in my career, I had a 9 to 5, and I couldn't handle it. I couldn't get up early every morning. It was the weirdest thing because I'm so used to being up and sleeping in and going in the afternoon, and then sleeping in and coming in the morning, and it's very weird. So.
What would the manager of conversion do during the pandemic?
No, well, not much. So we came in. It was March 12th, I think it was. We had a game the night before. We actually played the last game of the NBA season because our game went into overtime.
Isn't that the last game that Vince Carter played in?
That's correct.
How about
correct.
that?
Yeah, a bunch of people
Nice,
surprisingly were at Vince Carter's last game.
Yeah.
Didn't know it when they got in the building. But that night they canceled the game. I think it was Oklahoma City and Utah. They canceled it right before it started. And I saw that and I was like, well, that's not good. And it's funny, I was texting Jack back and forth. I was like, well, this is weird. And then ESPN came out and they were like, NBA season done.
Done.
And our game's still going on. That went out. We were in the third quarter or something. And so our game went into overtime. Game ended. We were supposed to come in that night to change into a concert. That concert just happened last week.
Which one was it?
It was Erykah Badu.
Oh, really?
So we were going to change into that in March of 2020, and the show just happened, I think, the day before Halloween or something.
Oh, wow.
This year.
That's crazy.
It was a weird feeling finally putting that show on. But, so we were supposed to go in that night to change, and then they said, well, we'll just go in the morning instead. So we go in the morning, we tear all the basketball stuff down, we start building the stage. I was like, are they really going to have this show if they just canceled the NBA season? And sure enough, as soon as we built the stage, they said, you know what, just go home.
And this was March 13th, I guess?
This is March 12th.
Oh, 12th, okay.
Yeah, that was the day they told us to just, go home, we'll call you back later. So we... Now, the great thing, I do have to give props to the Hawks. The upper management, the leadership is totally second to none. I haven't worked for any other NBA teams or any other pro teams, but from what I hear, it's pretty wild. So our company did not lay off one person.
That's fantastic.
Nobody.
Yep.
And they paid all of our part-time workers, I think, for 3 months after the shutdown, as if they would have worked the events that were going on.
That's awesome.
So, my job, obviously, I can't do much from home when there's nothing going on. But we had a bunch of training stuff and just anything we could do to try and prep for when we went back.
Yeah.
And so it was about 3 months before we went back in July, in person. And then we had no events for a while, but we opened up for that early voting. And then the NBA season did resume in December, the following season, instead of October. So then we were kind of going again, yeah.
And that's when it was all this, the digital faces in the crowd kind of thing, and that just
It was wild, man. The setup changed. If we had 30 games, it changed 40, 50 times. I mean, every game was different because they were allowed to have more people slowly. And then Kia wanted an extra car on the floor, so that was there for 2 games. And then they decided they didn't want it, and all sorts of whatever you could think of. I mean. And then we made the playoffs, and suddenly all bets were off, and the place was full up again. So that was wild. That was a wild ride, the playoffs. Yeah.
Yeah, that was wild. And I just remember feeling like that was the moment where it really just hit me. We were in this weird dystopian future when I turned on the basketball game, and they had little digital faces, and it was it's like, whoa. Man,
yeah, the finals that year was very bizarre.
Yeah.
But now we can do that. If it was 10 years ago, they wouldn't have been able to do that.
That's right. Yeah. That's well, that says a lot. That you guys didn't lay off one single person.
Yeah, I mean, some people left, like Jack. You know,
Sure.
he went, and he's working for the Raiders now and
Yep.
stuff like that. But they didn't, as a rule, they didn't just sweep anybody out.
Well, and for an industry that just had to completely shut down, that says volumes. Yeah.
it's unbelievable.
Yeah.
So
It's
yeah.
very cool. Yeah, between you guys and the stadium and you know some other clients of ours who just simply had to shutter the doors, you know, indefinitely.
Yeah.
You know,
Oh, yeah.
It's, you know, it's,
Scary time.
yeah.
Yeah, and
sure.
so the struggle now that we've been having is actually help.
Mm.
Because so many of you guys had to just like kind of shut down, and all, you know, a bunch of people moved on, or you're having trouble finding people that want to work or whatever. So you know, the event schedule for us is very daunting this year, because now it's our normal event schedule, our normal Hawk schedule, plus probably 70% of last year's shows, all stacked into this year, and so suddenly we're going 0 to 60 right away. So it's been tough getting back going, but we're getting there now.
Well, that was one of my next questions too. Is, you know, what we kind of like to ask when people come on here is, okay, you can't say we're post-COVID now, but the world is back up and running. Would you say that what you guys are doing is back up to quote unquote normal?
Oh, even more so.
Yeah,
yeah.
it sounds like the pendulum
it's-
has swung
yeah,
back.
Yeah, it's been very, very busy.
Yeah. We'd like to shift gears a little bit too, and talk about some non-work related stuff. So you've been in Atlanta for about 4 years, 4+.
Yeah. Yep.
What's the best meal you've had in Atlanta so far?
I don't know about best individual meal, but my favorite restaurant in Atlanta is it's a Mexican place called Bone Garden.
Okay.
Bone Garden Cantina.
Never
It's
heard of it.
Very well hidden.
Okay.
Tiny little place. No one would ever just find it.
Bone Garden.
So I'm trying to spread the word.
What part of town?
It's in West Midtown.
Okay.
It's right next to the Topgolf on Chattahoochee.
And this is why we ask these things.
Yeah.
I've never heard of the Bone Garden.
Yeah, I've come to find I have this new girlfriend, and it's like apparent that I eat Mexican food a lot more than I realize. Because she's already like, how did I guess it's tacos again? You know.
That's okay. That's okay.
But yeah, there's a lot of good Mexican spots in
Cantina?
That's it. Yep.
All right.
It's a tiny little hole in the wall place. You guys know the Vortex.
Yes.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
yeah.
Okay, so this place is owned by the people that own the Vortex. So
Okay.
imagine the Mexican version of the Vortex. It's all
Wow.
yeah, it's all Day of the Dead themed.
Yeah.
It's
Yeah.
Very
totally,
cool.
it's great. It's right up my alley.
Fantastic. Okay.
Next company outing.
yeah. Exactly.
No, go check
Exactly.
out Bone Garden. Yeah.
So if you had not wound up in sports entertainment and facilities management, let's say let's take chemical engineering off the table. What is what is another career path you may have taken?
Probably a teacher.
Yeah, really.
Yeah, I always like to teach people stuff, and I still do to this day. It's not math and science, which is probably what I would teach in like a school setting. But no, I think I could take to that pretty good. Now I have a lot of friends that are teachers, and I don't know if the career is necessarily for me, but like that, I feel like that's something that I could do. If nothing else worked out, I feel like I could make that work.
Excellent benefits.
Yeah.
Excellent benefits.
And the world needs teachers. It's not like that's going to shut down or anything.
Yeah, that's true. That's for sure. So you mentioned the Hawks organization on the whole is world class.
It's amazing.
What are some of their company values that resonate with you? I mean, we like to preach core values a lot within our organization, and we kind of hang our hat on what we believe in and what's important to us. What about the Hawks?
Now I hope my CEO doesn't somehow hear this. I don't have the list in front of me. There's like a list of 5 core values, and I'm not going to get it right. But the ones that stick out to me, they big push on inclusiveness and diversity, which is big.
Mm-hmm.
And they really they put their money where their mouth is, I guess is how I'll put it. So they're so focused on the guest experience and the employee. As I'm handed a list of the values. Let's see.
We can edit that part out too.
I don't. Okay. I don't know if these are up to date. I'm not gonna. That's fine. So no, they're really good about the employee experience and the guest experience, and they've been since I've been here. There was a new ownership group that came in like kind of relatively recently at that time, and that's like part of the whole arena renovation and all this stuff. They've really been revamping kind of the way they look at everything, and you can really see the difference over the 4 years that I've been here.
And I'm not sure if I understand how the Hawks ownership really works. Is it the same organization that owns the team that owns and operates State Farm Arena, or is they 2 separate entities?
I believe so.
Yeah.
Yes. So the arena is completely operated by the Atlanta Hawks.
Okay.
So like I'm an employee of the Hawks when realistically I'm an employee of State Farm Arena.
Right.
Yeah, I'm working whether or not the Hawks are there.
Right.
Now there's a large chunk of the company where that's not the case.
Yep.
You know, they're working, they're doing basketball stuff, but there's what we call building operations. So like the people that live, and I use the term, you know, realistically,
like sleep.
that live in
Right.
the building. You know, we realistically work for the building, but it's all the Hawks.
Yeah.
So I believe buying the team, that's like part of the deal.
Yeah.
Is the building, but I don't know that for a fact.
I know it gets
I
convoluted.
think so, though. I
Yeah.
think so. I don't. It's not like a city building or anything, as far as I know.
Yep. Dave?
Oh my goodness.
There he is, in his fresh Hawk shirt.
Yeah.
I love that. Thank you.
I love that too. I want to get a
I'm kind
Hawks
of
hat.
impressed.
Veronica may or may not have given this to me.
I should have.
Ah.
Yeah, I should have brought you guys some stuff. I didn't even think about it.
Yeah.
Hey,
Well, give us an excuse to come by and see you.
Give me,
Yeah.
give me your sizes when we leave, and I'll get you some stuff.
Yeah, we'll trade you some
Perfect.
level 7 swag.
Yeah,
I
that'll
just
work.
want a Hawks hat.
Yeah.
And I'm coming to a Hawks game in the Saturday after Thanksgiving.
Are you
Oh,
really?
okay.
Yep.
Yeah, I will miraculously not be here.
Good for
That's
you.
impressive.
Yeah, in my career, I've worked in basketball forever, so like Thanksgiving is like always a no-go. But this year, it's just Hawks, so I don't have anything to do. So I'm going to New York for a week. So.
Good
wow,
for you.
fantastic.
Awesome.
Yeah.
You got family up there? Just going
Yeah,
to New York?
my dad's whole family's from up there. Yeah.
Very cool.
What part?
West Islip, Long Island.
Okay.
Yeah.
So Margaret's from Ithaca originally.
Yep.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
And what kind of NBA team are you pulling for, Margot? Is you a Knicks fan?
Be honest, it's okay.
Yeah.
I grew up being a Knicks fan, yes.
Yeah.
But I
Okay.
do support the Hawks I do support the Hawks.
Me too when they're doing well.
Yeah. One, my daughter's definitely a homer. Like, she is all in with the Hawks 100%. Like, she is definitely a homer.
I'm a bandwagon fan. I'm just going to be honest. I mean, I want them to win. I mean, if they're ever playing, I'm never pulling against them. But I just don't pay that much attention.
You're
until
not
they start
alone.
doing it.
You're
Yeah.
not alone. The Hawks, I would say, historically have not had like a large fan base.
Yeah.
But that's another thing. This ownership group is they're really trying to latch on to some fans.
Atlanta would be such a great NBA town if
It
the
would.
Hawks, if the product.
Well,
you know,
part of it's
Exactly.
probably because there's so many of us that are not from
That's
here,
it.
so
Absolutely.
we bring our sports allegiance
Yep.
with us
That's
down
right.
here.
Yeah. You go to a Falcons Steelers game, and Margot and all the
Yep.
rest of the Steelers fans
Yep.
are
Yep.
waving their
Oh, no,
terrible
I worked,
towels.
I worked at Wake Forest for 2 years. You don't think I've seen
Yeah,
that? Yeah.
yeah.
Oh, yeah. No, I know how that goes.
More Duke fans than you.
Oh, yeah.
Mhm.
Well, you see my coworkers in blue, and it's like, oh, that's kind of...
yeah. But it's. I mean, they're always fun to go to. I've always had a good experience going. Even back in the Thrashers when we had the hockey team. You know,
I wish. I love hockey.
It was fun, and I didn't even understand hockey. I mean, I
Yeah.
grew up in the deep South. I didn't nobody
Hockey
played
is
hockey.
a lot of fun to watch.
Yeah.
But it is, but just the game day experience and everything is so much fun. I mean, it's
Yeah.
such a cool facility, and I mean, you're going to have a good time.
Didn't mean to cut you off there, Dave. Sorry.
oh no, no worries.
Oh yeah, no, I beg your pardon. Where do we go? Oh yeah,
Oh,
no.
you were asking me.
Oh, that's right.
Yeah.
We were talking about books. You were talking about all the riveting books you've been reading lately.
Yeah, I can't read.
How your fantasy football team's doing this year?
I'm in first place in one.
Mm-hmm.
The other one, I'm kind of middle of the pack, which is kind of disappointing.
You're sandbagging. Everybody knows you're sandbagging.
Yep.
You're laying back.
He's a ringer.
He is the ringer.
You come get him at the last 2
yeah,
weeks. Right?
yeah, he is the ringer. How many fantasy football championships would you say you've won over the years? Innumerable. I
Last
can go ahead and tell you.
5 years.
Oh, tell me it's more than 5.
It is more than
Oh,
5.
geez.
It's probably 12.
Wow.
I don't know.
Yeah, you're sitting across from a
Wow.
legend right now.
That's crazy.
Just so you know. So Kyle, you're I don't know what 10, 12, 15 years into your career.
Yeah. Yeah.
What if you could go back and give yourself some advice coming right out of college? What is some advice you would give yourself?
Coming out of college?
Sure. Early on in your career.
I don't know. I feel like the advice I would give myself is what I've done anyway, which
Yeah.
is just take these opportunities.
Yeah.
You know, just if there's something that you want to try and you have the opportunity to do it, go for it. You never know.
Yeah.
You never know what you might enjoy. So who would have thought? You know, people ask me that all the time about when I was younger, especially years ago. They'd say, well, you'll go back 10 years, and at the time it'd be 16 or something. It's like, well, I'm working in this business I didn't even know existed in that time span. So, you know, just I guess that's the only advice I have is you never know what you might really latch onto and enjoy. So
Yeah.
Yeah.
If you see an open door somewhere, maybe
exactly.
maybe take it. That's
Mhm.
cool. That's good. I like that. Any specifically memorable events that you've worked or been involved with at State Farm that just were either hellacious, like the worst night of your life, or just fantastically memorable in some other way?
What sticks out? Jay-Z sticks out
Yeah.
as being it wasn't a terrible event or anything, but the loadout was insanely, crazily long. The stage that he had, it was like this crazy pyramid that like transformed and moved and stuff, and so we had a basketball game the next day, of course. So we were just sitting there for like about 4 hours, couldn't do anything all night.
Does that typically so artists bring their own, their road hands or whatever, and that load and unload, but a lot of that falls on your guys too. Like, I mean, do you kind of help them disassemble their?
No. Nope. Production stuff is not me at all. So anything that's not mine, I'm like not really allowed to touch.
So you sit there and wait on it, basically.
Yeah. So we do what we can like around them, which depending on the show or what we're doing could be a lot of stuff. It could be nothing.
Yep.
And so especially back then, this was before the renovation. There was not much we could do.
Yep.
But that was long. What else? We had the 2018 regional final for the NCAA tournament.
Okay.
And I worked in college basketball for 10 years, so that was really cool.
Yeah.
And we had what I like to call the upset bracket. We were the first region in NCAA history where none of 1, 2, 3, or 4 made it to the regional round. We had 5, 7, 9, and 11.
Wow.
And the 11 seed, Loyola Chicago, is the one that won the region.
I remember that.
Yeah, so that was a lot of fun. And I specifically, this is my first year with the Hawks, I told them, I said, I want to build the trophy stage. Like, I want that. Like, give me that. I want to do that.
Yeah.
And so, I just put a bunch of pressure on myself for no reason. You asked if I'm a masochist.
Yeah,
clearly the answer is yes.
I'm getting that.
And so, no, I took that on, and I was talking to one of the NCAA reps, and I was like, how long are you guys looking for? Like, how fast do you want me to build this thing? And they would not give me an answer. They were just like, yeah, just as fast as you can.
Yeah.
And I think I clocked it from like the moment they said go to the moment I got off the court. I think it was like 6 minutes.
Oh, wow.
Which is longer than I wanted, but still pretty good. But
pretty solid.
It's different when you have 20,000 people in the stands, but you're also on TBS, so like 30 million people are watching on TV. And so I went back and watched it later, and you can find me if you look running around.
Freeze the frame.
Yeah, me and a couple of my guys. So that was really cool. I just missed on the Final Four. So they were supposed to have the Final Four, and then the shutdown happened. They didn't have it. I was going to try whatever I could to get in on that next door. That was at the football stadium.
That's when we knew it was real.
Yep.
And but I did do the Super Bowl halftime show.
Sweet.
Oh, yeah?
That they had over there. So that was really cool.
Oh, really? The Maroon 5 thing?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Wow.
Yeah, so I was on the field team for that. So I was one of like 1,200 people that made that show happen.
Oh, my God. That's fun.
They call it the 24-minute miracle. That's what they call that show internally, because it's totally insane.
I can only imagine. Yeah.
But State Farm, what else? We had in 2019 we had a run of what I would call like legacy bands. That was really cool for me. It's rare that we get a show that I'm really interested in. So it was there was like the Who and Queen, which was the big one for me. We had 3 nights of the Eagles. Elton John came back again. Fleetwood Mac was there.
Who sang with Queen? Just a sound-alike?
What's the guy's name? He's from it's Adam something from American Idol.
Lambert.
Adam Lambert.
Okay.
Adam Lambert.
No, he was really good.
Yeah.
I was standing there in the crowd, and Freddie Mercury died when I was an infant.
Yeah.
And I was just sitting there. I was like, who would have thought 27 years later, like I'd get the chance to see Queen?
Yeah.
So that was really cool.
That is really cool.
Yeah.
What was the guitarist name? Brian Mays. He's like an astrophysicist.
Oh,
or
all
something.
those guys.
Yeah.
So me being an engineer.
Exactly. Yeah, I kind of thought
a big inspiration. Yeah.
Yeah, that's cool. That's very cool. Well, Dave and I are big Stones fans, and got to take in the Stones at Mercedes-Benz Stadium last week.
That was awesome.
Did not disappoint.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was fun. I mean, they've been the first time I saw the Stones. I think I was 19. And I try not to miss them when they come around because, of course, every time they come these days, it's like, this has got to be it. This is good. Of course, this is going to be the last one.
No, I told you I saw Metallica like a couple of days earlier.
Yeah.
And same thing. And they're 10 years younger than the Rolling Stones. Right. So, but every time they come around, I'm like, I might not get another chance.
That's right.
Yeah.
Yeah, catch them while you can.
Yeah.
Well, that's cool. So, you probably do, when you do have a show that comes around that you're interested in, I guess you got all the access you want, huh?
Yeah, I guess you could say that maybe.
Yeah, that's cool.
It depends. Yeah, well, we'll say the short answer is yes, I guess.
Yeah, you can pull some strings here and there.
It depends on what's going on.
Yeah. Right, understand. Yeah, people always ask us, don't you guys get good tickets at State Farm and Mercedes-Benz Stadium? It's like, no, we don't. We do not.
It really depends. Yeah.
So I have a trivia question for you. It's a shot in the dark.
Uh-oh.
How many times do you think that Dave Hollister has seen Widespread Panic at State Farm Arena?
I feel like I'm privy to some information here. I don't know if I can answer this honestly. How many times would you say, Dave?
I think 16.
That's crazy.
That's insane.
My favorite band is Avenged Sevenfold. You know them?
No, what is it? Oh, the band.
Avenged Sevenfold.
No,
They're like, it's like, I'm not going to explain it, but I've seen them like 8 times, and I was like, that's crazy. And
Yeah. Panic fans tend to they don't miss shows by and large when they come around.
yeah.
Not my own town.
Yeah, I mean it's so easy when they kind of show up in your backyard, and they've been playing for so long, it's ridiculous.
Yeah.
But
That's cool.
so the banner is still there, because I thought last time I was there I looked for it and I didn't see the banner. They were honored with
If there's a Widespread Panic banner, I have not seen it.
yeah, I think they pulled it down.
Yeah.
They pulled it down, Dave. You're gonna
Yeah.
have to talk to somebody about this.
Yeah, do you want it? Maybe I can find
Do
it.
you have the beat? Do you
Hey.
have the beat? Can you beep this out? That's bullshit.
Yeah.
Sorry, kids.
I will ask about that, though, because now I'm curious.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I don't think it's up there anymore. Yeah.
No, it
they've been
definitely
demoted.
isn't. But if there was one, maybe I could track it down. That would be cool.
Yeah, but you can probably auction that
There's
thing on eBay.
there's some weird stuff sitting in our storage.
Oh,
can
I
tell you.
believe
I'm
that.
sure.
Yeah.
I believe that. Margot, have you had anything to eat in Atlanta that the rest of our listeners would need to know about? So, a meal that was just like the best burger you've had in a long time, maybe the best pizza or Mexican, or I don't know. You got a relative coming in from out of town, and you just want to impress them. You want to knock their socks off. And you can't get Waffle House for some reason. You got to come with another one.
That's tough. It depends. If it's my dad, I would probably, he's a big seafood guy, so probably like the fish market or someplace like that.
Mhm.
That's a tough one. Pizza?
Not your jam?
It's not
Well,
Atlanta.
just-
Dude,
yeah,
it's not Atlanta's
Right,
jam.
I forget the
Yeah,
Yankees
yeah.
think
It's just
Atlanta
not. I
is
mean,
too.
there's
Goodness
places that are
gracious.
close,
Right.
but it's
Yeah. There's
Yeah.
My side of town. There's a place called Bella's.
Fellas.
It's pretty good.
Yeah.
New York style pizza. Yeah.
There's also out near, actually in Duluth, Old 4W. That
Yeah,
used to
that's
be-
not
yep.
bad. That
Yeah,
one's
that's
pretty good too.
Yep.
There's one in Norcross that's oh man, it's escaping me. It'll come to me. Dagwoods. It's really good.
That's my neighborhood.
Yeah, man, that's really good.
It is good, but it's still not, like you need the paper plate with the oil dripping through.
Yeah. You want to do like lightning round on restaurants real quick?
Yeah, absolutely.
I'll give you a type of restaurant. The first best thing that pops into your head.
Okay.
You ready?
Yes.
Barbecue.
Pork.
Fat Mats.
Very good. Very good. He cracked the code. See? I'm sorry. What did you say?
You've never been to pork?
Now I can't get pork. Yeah, that's right, everybody. There's a restaurant called Simply Pork.
Pork?
Here in Atlanta.
Restaurant. I said Fat Mats.
Fat Mats.
Yeah, it's a little standby. Mick Jagger went to Fat Mats while he was
There
in
you go.
town. Yep.
Didn't he also go to the Claremont
Claremont, yes, he
Lounge?
did. He announced what Blondie did for
Yep.
him while he was there.
I like Fox Brothers.
Yeah. It's pretty solid. Pretty solid.
Anybody
stuff.
else barbecue? Dave's not allowed to answer anymore.
Oh.
You're out of the lightning round. All right.
What about you? Said you got seafood already, or did you say a place?
Yeah,
Seafood?
fish market.
Fish market.
That's good.
We'll skip pizza. How about
There's some really good Korean barbecue.
there you go.
Yeah, it's got a funky name. It's like So Dong Kong or something like that.
The one on Beaufort Highway.
Yeah, it's right across from.
I couldn't even tell you
You
where.
really got to cut me off.
There's one kind of near the QT on Beaufort Highway, but I have no idea what the name of it is. It looks like a hole in the wall, which means it's awesome food.
Taqueria del Sol is like right across the parking lot from that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I've been there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That one's
I
good.
can't tell you the name, but it does. It looks like a hole in the wall. And
What about burgers? You get some burgers in Atlanta.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
I like Farm Burger. I like Farm Burger.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's pretty consistent.
Don't you
Are
say
you-
beef?
I like Village Burger.
Okay.
Those
I
burgers.
actually went to the Vortex last night. That's
Oh, the
nice.
Vortex.
That's
is-
pretty good.
That's my old favorite.
That's
Yeah.
pretty good. Yeah, that's pretty good.
When I used to be young and hip, go into town and go get a burger.
Yeah.
Now I stay in the
It's all in the
burbs.
burbs.
Now you just
Yeah.
go to
Yep.
pork.
Yep.
Now I just go to
Just
pork.
go to pork.
I love pork.
Do you get adventurous and hit Buford Highway for some of the good ethnic food up and down?
No, not very often.
Yeah.
It's like a little bit of a hike for me. So
Yeah, it's worth the destination. So where we're moving in Peachtree Corners is still accessible, but where we've been in Doraville for the past almost 10 years, it's kind of right down there in the thick of it. And so yeah, tons and tons of good spots there.
yeah.
Well, guys, I think we're kind of getting up against the clock here. What else do our listeners need to hear about State Farm Arena or good places to eat or anything else of interest?
Banana.
Oh, see,
Pork.
we've come full circle.
We've gotten to that time in the program, people.
Pork. Yes, we have. So with that, thank you, Kyle. We really appreciate you
Thank
coming
you,
to join
guys.
us.
It's super
Really,
fun.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's been a blast. Thank you very much. And we appreciate you listeners out there for joining us on What's Going On in There, which has been presented by Level 7 Facility Services. Be sure to join us for the live broadcast every month here on Business Radio X. If you missed the live broadcast, no worries. You can enjoy the show anytime by visiting businessradiox.com, selecting the Gwinnett Studio, and then clicking on What's Going On in There. This program is also available on iTunes, iHeartRadio, Spotify, or wherever you enjoy your favorite podcasts. Please be sure to subscribe to our show so you don't miss any future episodes. For my co-hosts, Dave and Margot, and guest Kyle Conway of the Hawks, I'm Stephen Tomlinson with Level 7 Facility Services, and you've been listening to What's Going On in There on Business Radio X.